If you have less than $100,000 saved right now, you're in the hardest stretch of your entire financial life. And that is not a bad thing. It is actually useful information. Charlie Munger, Warren Buffett's longtime business partner and one of the greatest investors in history, said it plainly: the first $100,000 is a bar teach. He wasn't being dramatic. He was describing a mathematical reality that almost nobody explains to beginners. Here's what that reality is: compounding. The process where your money earns returns on top of previous returns barely feels like anything when your balance is small. Put $5,000 into an index fund, earn a historically average 10% return, and you make $500 that year. That does not change your life. But once you cross $100,000, that same 10% gives you $10,000. And it only grows from there without you doing a single extra thing. The good news is this: getting to that first $100,000 is a skill problem, not a luck problem. It is about plugging the right levers in the right order. And I'm going to show you exactly what those levers are. Stick with this video, and you will walk away with a clear step-by-step plan to hit that number, plus a concrete picture of what your money actually does once you get there. Here's the part almost everyone gets wrong. They expect compounding to feel magical from day one, and when it doesn't, they lose motivation and slow down. Understanding why it feels slow at first is what keeps you from quitting. Compounding grows your money exponentially, meaning the growth curve bends upward over time. But exponential curves have a secret. They look almost completely flat at the beginning. Imagine you start with $10,000 and add $500 every month, a solid, consistent effort, while earning roughly 10% per year in a broad index fund. In year one, your balance grows to about $16,000. That extra $6,000 feels like the result of your $500 monthly contributions almost entirely, because it mostly is. Your investment returns in that first year? About $1,000. Barely noticeable. Fast forward to the moment you cross $100,000 using that same plan. Now your portfolio earns roughly $10,000 a year in investment returns alone, separate from anything you contribute. That is $833 a month just appearing with no extra work from you. Your $500 monthly contribution now looks small compared to what the money is generating by itself. Here's the real kicker. That $10,000 annual return then gets added to your balance, and next year it earns returns too. Each cycle, the base gets bigger. That is the bend in the curve. And it only appears after you have built enough mass. The problem is that almost nobody tells beginners this gap exists, so they feel like they are failing when they are actually right on track. But knowing the math is only half of it. The real question is, which actions close that gap fastest? That is where the order of operations matters. And most people get it completely backwards. Almost every beginner I see makes the same sequencing mistake. They either invest before eliminating high-interest debt, or they leave free employer money unclaimed while aggressively paying down low-interest debt. Either error quietly costs thousands of dollars and adds years to the journey. Here's the order that actually works. Think of it as 4 distinct steps, and you should not skip ahead. The very first step is a $1,000 starter emergency fund. Not fully funded, just $1,000 in cash, sitting in a high-yield savings account, which is simply a savings account that pays a meaningfully higher interest rate than a traditional bank. Right now, many high-yield savings accounts pay around 4% to 5%, versus the 0.5% or less you get at a big traditional bank. That $1,000 is a firewall. It stops one unexpected car repair or medical bill from derailing everything that follows. Step 2. If your employer offers a 401k match, capture every dollar of it before you do anything else. A 401k is a tax-advantaged retirement account offered through your employer. A match means your employer contributes extra money based on what you put in. Often 50 cents for every dollar you contribute, up to a percentage of your salary. If you earn $60,000 and your employer matches 50% of your contributions up to 6% of your salary, that ceiling is $3,600 from you per year. The employer adds $1,800 on top of that, completely free. Not contributing enough to grab that full match is the single most common and costly mistake in the first $100,000 journey. You will not find a 50% guaranteed, immediate return anywhere else. Step 3. Attack high-interest debt. Specifically anything above roughly 7% to 8% interest, with credit card debt being the usual culprit. The math is simple. If a credit card charges you 22% interest, paying it off is a guaranteed 22% return on that money. No index fund can reliably beat that over a short period. Carry a $5,000 credit card balance at 22%? That is costing you roughly $1,100,000 every single year, and it is compounding just like your investments, only against you. Once the high-interest debt is gone, step 4 is building your full emergency fund, typically 3 to 6 months of expenses, and then channeling every extra dollar into investment accounts. Which accounts and in what order depends on your situation. That is the next piece, and it is where most of the growth acceleration happens. This section is where the rubber meets the road, because putting money in the right accounts is not just about organization. It is about legally sheltering your gains from taxes, which can shave years off the journey to $100,000. After you have captured the full employer 401k match, the next destination for most people is a Roth IRA. A Roth IRA is an individual retirement account you open yourself at any major brokerage like Fidelity, Vanguard, or Schwab. You contribute money that has already been taxed, your normal take-home pay, and every dollar of growth inside that account is tax-free forever. You can contribute up to $7,000 per year in 2024 if you are under 50. Think about what that means. If you invest $7,000 per year from age 25 to 65 inside a Roth IRA and earn that historical 10% average annually, you could end up with over $3 million, and you would owe $0 in taxes on it when you withdraw in retirement. A similar account outside of a Roth would get taxed on every withdrawal. The tax shelter is not a small detail. Over decades, it is one of the biggest levers in the entire plan. If you have a high-deductible health insurance plan, there is one more account worth knowing: the HSA, or Health Savings Account. You contribute pre-tax dollars. The money grows tax-free, and withdrawals for qualified medical expenses are also tax-free. That is a triple tax advantage, which no other account in the U.S. tax code offers. In 2024, you can contribute up to $4,450 as an individual or $8,300 for a family. After the Roth IRA is maxed, go back and increase your 401k contributions beyond the match. The 2024 contribution limit there is $23,000. Most people will never max all of these in the early years, and that is completely fine. The goal is to fill them in the right order and invest whatever you can. Now that you know where the money goes, let's talk about what you actually put inside those accounts, because this is where a lot of beginners freeze up and do nothing. Here is the uncomfortable truth about investing at this stage. Complexity is the enemy. The more options you have, the more likely you are to hesitate, second-guess, or make changes at the worst time. The investors who reach $100,000 fastest are almost never the ones picking individual stocks. They are the ones who chose something simple and left it alone. For someone building toward that first $100,000, two options cover almost everything you need. The first is a total market index fund, or an S&P 500 index fund. An index fund is a single investment that automatically holds hundreds or even thousands of companies at once. An S&P 500 index fund tracks the 500 largest U.S. companies. When you own it, you own a tiny slice of Apple, Microsoft, Amazon, and 497 others, instantly diversified, with very low fees. Historically, the S&P 500 has returned about 10% per year on average over the long run, before inflation. That is not a promise for the future, but it is the most widely cited long-run reference for U.S. stocks. The second option is a target date fund. These are designed specifically for hands-off investors. You pick a fund named after the year you plan to retire, say a 2055 fund if you expect to retire around 2055. And the fund automatically manages a diversified mix of stocks and bonds, gradually shifting to become more conservative as that date approaches. They are available in almost every 401k, and for many beginners, they are genuinely the best starting choice, because they remove almost every decision after the first one. What you want to avoid at this stage is overcomplicating it with dozens of different funds, or pulling money out every time the market drops. That last part is so important, it gets its own section. Because the market will drop, and what you do in that moment will determine everything. If you are saving toward $100,000 right now, you will almost certainly experience at least one scary market downturn before you get there. The S&P 500 has dropped 20% or more in a single year multiple times in recent decades, 2008, 2020, and others. And here is what almost always happens. New investors see the red numbers. feel the panic, and sell. They lock in the loss, sit in cash, and miss the recovery. This is the single biggest behavioral trap on the road to $100,000. A 20% drop on a $10,000 account costs you $2,000 on paper. That is painful. But a 20% drop on a $100,000 account? That is $20,000 gone on the screen. And the temptation to do something grows much stronger. The data on staying invested is sobering. Research consistently shows that missing just the 10 best trading days in the market over a 20-year period roughly cuts your ending balance in half. And those best days almost always come immediately after the worst ones. If you sell during the panic, you almost guarantee you miss the bounce. The simple rule: if your money is in a 401k or Roth IRA earmarked for retirement that is 15 or more years away, a market drop is not a crisis. It is a sale. Your regular contributions are now buying more shares at lower prices. That is the mechanism that makes consistent investing through downturns so powerful. That said, one emotional guardrail makes this significantly easier, and it has nothing to do with your investments. Everything we have covered, the accounts, the funds, the order of operations, only works if money is actually flowing in consistently. And the single number that determines how fast you reach $100,000 more than any other is your savings rate. The percentage of your take-home income you put to work every month. Here is how much the difference matters. Say you take home $4,000 per month. Saving 10%, $400, and investing it in an S&P 500 index fund at 10% historical average annual returns gets you to $100,000 in roughly 12 years. On-screen 10% savings rate. So 12 years to $100,000. Bump that savings rate to 20%. $800 per month, and that timeline drops to about 8 years. On-screen 20% savings rate, or it's 8 years to $100,000. That is 4 years of your life back, just by redirecting $400 more per month, roughly the cost of a car payment. The fastest way to raise your savings rate is not to meticulously track every latte. It is to automate the contribution so the money moves before you ever see it, and to address the big 3 fixed expenses: housing, transportation, and food, because those 3 categories alone account for roughly 70% of most American spending. A single right decision on where you live or what car you drive is worth years of cutting small purchases. And the final piece that accelerates everything, which almost nobody talks about in the context of early savings, is income growth. A 10% raise on a $50,000 salary is $5,000 extra per year. If you bank even half of that increase instead of upgrading your lifestyle, your monthly investment contribution jumps by over $200. That compounds on top of your balance. Lifestyle inflation is the silent killer of savings rates, and avoiding it during the $100,000 climb is one of the highest leverage decisions you can make. Let's pull it together. The first $100,000 is the hardest because compounding needs mass to feel meaningful. And building that mass requires you to stay consistent through years when the returns look small. But the math flips decisively once you cross that line, and every dollar you add after $100,000 works harder than any dollar you put in before it. The plan is clear. Start with a $1,000 emergency buffer. Capture your full employer 401k match, eliminate high-interest debt, build out your emergency fund, and then stack your contributions into a Roth IRA and back into your 401k. Inside those accounts, keep it simple: a total market index fund or target date fund. Automate it, ignore the crashes, and protect your savings rate from lifestyle inflation. You now have the full framework. The thing that quietly undoes all of it for most people is debt. Specifically, not knowing which debts to kill first and which ones are actually fine to carry. That is the next video worth watching. And if this breakdown was useful, subscribe to Plain Money so you do not miss it. And drop a comment below. What is your current biggest obstacle on the way to your first $100,000? I read everyone.